Nigeria and beyond. I am Funsho. This is Ask the Experts, where we bring you conversations with professionals, industry leaders, policymakers, and stakeholders, helping us understand the trends, opportunities, and challenges shaping the future of work and economic development. Real estate development remains one of the key drivers of economic growth, urban expansion, and wealth creation. Beyond providing homes and commercial spaces, quality real estate development has the potential to create sustainable communities that offer security, comfort, modern infrastructure, and long-term value for both residents and investors. Across Nigeria, the demand for quality housing continues to rise as population growth and urbanization place increasing pressure on available infrastructure. This has created greater interest in developing communities that combine proper planning, durable construction, environmental sustainability, and essential social amenities that improve quality of life while supporting economic development. However, achieving sustainable real estate development comes with several challenges, including rising construction costs, inadequate infrastructure, land administration issues, housing affordability, and the need for greater transparency within the property market. Addressing these challenges is essential to building communities that remain valuable for generations. As Nigeria continues to pursue economic diversification, increase private investment, and improve living standards, there is growing attention on how quality real estate development can support national development, strengthen local economies, create employment opportunities, and provide lasting value for families and investors alike. Today, we will be discussing building sustainable communities through quality real estate development, creating lasting value for families and investors. Joining us in the studio this morning is Funsho Omole, the Managing Director of CrowdPrice. He is a real estate developer, the Managing Director of CrowdPrice in Nigeria here, with a current focus on the development of value courts in Ogun State. Virtual Court, I beg your pardon, is a modern development built around quality, comfort, and real value for both families and investors. Before real estate, Funsho spent several years adding value in the oil and gas services and engineering industries. He holds a BSc in chemical engineering from the University of Lagos and an MBA from the Business School, Netherlands. Good morning, Funsho, and welcome to Trader News Business Briefing.
Good morning, Splendor. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Now when we talk about sustainable communities, what does the concept really mean in the context of real estate development?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Sustainable development in context of real estate means construction that lasts not just today, but 20 years from now. We're talking about foundations that we hold, infrastructure that will continue to be there, roads that will last, and drainages that will continue to prevent floods, and utilities that will continue to work in our development. Yeah.
Okay. So now, what are the essential features that distinguish a quality real estate development from one that simply provides housing? And the reason why I'm asking this is, as someone who, growing up, I lived in an estate, and then there were some estates that I lived in that did not provide like basic amenities. So now, what differentiates a quality real estate development from the one that simply provides housing?
Thank you. So anybody can just build houses.
Okay.
But when you're talking about quality development, you're talking about not just the houses, you're talking about houses that support families. You're talking about good designs, you're looking at ventilation, you're looking about lighting with respect to growing calls for reduction in energy bills and all of that. And then you're looking at infrastructure. You're not just looking at housing, you're looking at roads, you're looking at drainages. Look at the recent issues we have with flooding. Okay, so that's key now. So you're looking at roads, drainages, utility security, green spaces where people can interact, and playgrounds where children can play, amenities around, all of that. So all of that together is what. And it's interesting that buyers are more aware these days, and this is what everybody's really looking out for.
Okay. So now let's talk about urban planning. What role does proper urban planning play in creating communities that remain attractive and functional for generations?
Thank you. Planning is everything. That's the first step to anything you want to do in a real estate. I mean, with any engineering project, you start with planning. And with planning, you ensure that roads continue to be useful, they are not congested over time. So you're looking at a long-term approach to anything that you're doing. So roads will be good, drainages will continue to flow properly, security will hold, amenities will stay, utilities will continue to last. So you're looking with planning, you talk about good materials, good value, and with proper planning, that's the way you can hold value for investors in any construction or project that you're doing.
Okay. So now, beyond constructing buildings, because a lot of people just know real estate as, oh, they build estates and they, so now beyond constructing buildings, how can developers contribute to the social and economic well-being of the communities where they operate?
Great, yeah, I think that's a very brilliant question. The first thing, if you look at the economic part, so for every project, real estate developers, what we do is for every project we create jobs. Okay, so the local community enjoys from any project that we do. Apart from that, we also design commercial spaces where there can be exchange of value, talk about places where people can do little trade and all of that. And for the social aspect, with respect to design, you are designing safe spaces for children to be able to exist. You are designing spaces where there can be interactions, because with interactions, you can improve mental health, and people can come together to just distress and stay in good spaces and all of that. And then you also talk about amenities and every other thing that supports social well-being of the people that are in the community.
Okay. Okay. How can developers balance affordability with the need to deliver durable, high-quality homes and infrastructure?
So affordability really is not the cheapest price today, right? It's the lowest cost over time. So, and that's one thing that investors and subscribers need to always remember. You're not just looking out for the cheapest price now, but you're looking at the lowest cost over time. You're looking at infrastructure that will continue to hold, that you don't have to start to replace in a very short time. You're looking at things that will continue to last. You're looking at houses that will be low maintenance over time. So you're not looking at to just buy something today that is cheap, but you're looking at in the next 20 years, what is your cost of maintenance and all of that. And that's when you put proper planning into your design, when you use materials that will last, when you work with a developer that has integrity and good track record, all of this will be properly balanced, and then you get value. And with everything I've said, that's how you hold the value for the investor. So that what your value, the value of your property is today, is still what it will be, or even better in the future.
Okay. Now, in what ways can environmentally friendly building practices reduce costs and improve residents' quality of life over time?
Okay, that's practical. So with good orientation for light and air, for instance, you can reduce your energy bills, right? And proper planning as well, so you can reduce your energy bills with that. And then with good waste management practices and good design for flooding, for instance, you can reduce cost of having to deal with the issues of health issues from improper waste management. I mean, I saw a video, a clip where a man was arrested maybe recently in Lagos for pouring some stuff in the drain. Yeah. And so all of that, when you do it properly, then you prevent an epidemic. They say health is wealth and prevention is always better than cure. And then you talk about other health practices like flooding and everything, so you prevent all of that, and that's cool.
Okay. Many Nigerians see real estate as a safe investment. What should investors look for to ensure they are investing in projects with long-term value?
Wow, that's a very important question. The first thing I think investors should look out for developers that have a good track record, number one. Second thing, you have to do your verifications. So you have to make sure that the title is clean, okay? And then look at growth drivers in the location. So you're looking at a location that has good drivers, so that over time, your investment, you can get good returns on your investment. And then proper build, good execution, good construction, so they have to go with standards. But I think once you do your verification and you're going with a developer that has a proper track record, I think you've gotten almost you've gone halfway, and then you just look at the group drivers and the location.
Okay.
Yes, and infrastructure as well. Make sure that they're investing in infrastructure. So it's not just about delivering a house to you, but you want to be sure that over time it supports the family and it makes for good quality living.
Okay. So, most times when it comes to real estate and documentation and realize, a lot of times people always have issues with getting the documentation, like the CFO, for example. I've seen situations whereby in the news, or I just had people complain about, the CFO of this documentation for this house, they have issues with it. So now, how important is transparency in land documentation, project execution, and property transactions in building public trust?
I think it's key. I think trust is the foundation of real estate. If you can verify documentation easily and people can tell that the title is good, then they're willing to invest. I think it's also important because investors want to be able to track their payments and be sure that they can get back, return on their investment. So it's key, and trust is the foundation, and it's one of the things that we advocate for better land administration and quicker title processing, so that it boosts confidence in the market. Yeah.
So, what common mistakes do first-time home buyers and property investors make? And how can they avoid them? Give us a real life scenario also. What are you talking about that?
Okay, great. I think the first thing is focusing solely on the price.
Okay.
So people get scammed because they're just looking at the price. Sometimes, second one is we are not verifying the title of the property. The third one is we are not looking to buy property that is big on low maintenance over time. And then maybe not looking at the growth drivers in the area, you're not properly looking at the location and all of that. I don't want to give you an example, but it's crazy because it's what most people, the experience that most people have, and somebody just gets into a property deal and you haven't checked well and you see that you have problems. Also go with your lawyer, always go with your lawyer. Check do the inspections, ask questions, ask hard questions, and then just be sure that you're dealing with a developer that has good track record.
Okay. How can partnerships between the government and private developers help address Nigeria's growing housing deficit while maintaining quality standards?
Yeah, collaboration is key. Government can do it alone, developers can do it alone. So what does the government do? The government has to come with policies, regulation, and infrastructure investment, right? And when they do that, when they're big on that, so policy, regulation, infrastructure development, then the developers will come with capital, speed, innovation, and that way we'll be able to develop quality, we'll be able to drive investment to certain regions, and we'll be able to bridge the gap for the housing deficit that we currently face in Nigeria.
Okay. In Lagos specifically, we have highbrow real estates that are called luxury, but still suffer.
Go on, please.
But still suffer dire conditions like flooding, low power supply, and insecurity. Do you think there's real luxury in Lagos real estate?
When you talk luxury, you shouldn't have those kind of problems, honestly. When you talk luxury, you shouldn't have flooding. When you talk luxury, it should be luxury in every whatever the word luxury, So I think it's a bit of it's some sharp marketing that people do to just say something is luxury and then you try to sell it. But luxury should be luxury. When you talk luxury, you're talking about space, you're talking about real space, you're talking about convenience, you're talking about class, you're talking about everything. So you don't have flood around luxury. No, that's not possible. And that is why people should check well and make sure that you are buying for every dollar or every naira that you spend, you should get your value back.
Okay. What impact do supporting amenities such as roads, schools, healthcare facilities, and recreational spaces have on the long-term success of a residential community?
That's a great impact too, because roads determine access.
Yeah.
Right? Roads determine access. Without these things, I mean, that's the difference between communities that struggle and the ones that thrive. Okay, roads determine access, healthcare facilities and schools, for instance, determine if families can settle in a place. And then when you talk about recreational facilities, it improves the quality of life. So these things are very important. And that's why sometimes you have an overpopulation of certain areas because everybody wants to be around those amenities. But when you have that in every area, the people can settle in other spots and you can have a lot more quality living.
Okay. So many estates look impressive when they are commissioned, but begin to deteriorate when within a few years. And I'm going to use myself as an example. There's this particular estate that I grew up in, that I lived in somewhere in Abuja, and I don't know what to name the estates. You know, when people started moving in and they are just launched the estate. Now, I don't know, maybe because the estate is very close to rocks, but you know, less than a year or two after staying in the estate, like we noticed the doors were bad, like the ceilings were peeling, they were falling off, like everything was just deteriorating. The doors deteriorated. You could not even open it without it like peeling and stuff like that. So now, how important are maintenance planning, estate management, and resident participation in building truly sustainable communities?
I think it's important, I also think that with proper focus on, you know, first thing, planning, like you mentioned, planning, and then good building standards, good materials in place, working with a realtor that has good track record, I think you can avoid some of these things. These are things that people should look at, and that's why, you know, earlier I mentioned we focus on low maintenance houses over time, because sometimes the scam could be in the price. You get in on a cheap price, and then you don't understand that you're going to have to build your house again over, you know, a period, as against the house where you can pay a little more now, and then over time you're doing that. So investors and subscribers need to be very aware and look and, you know, check these things properly before they invest.
Okay. How is technology changing the way real estate is designed, marketed, managed, and experienced by homeowners and investors?
Technology is everything. Technology makes our lives easier. For design, it helps us with better planning tools. So we are able to plan better with tools that are more available to us. Also for project management tools as well. So you are able to track the progress of projects in real time and more easier rather. And for marketing, people are able to do virtual tours now, so you don't have to necessarily be present, so that helps. For management, security, how you communicate with residents, billing, and all of that, that helps. Access management, you know, you can generate codes for your visitors now and all of that. And then for investors, they're able to track their payments and, you know, see what their return on investment is over time. So that all that accountability and transparency helps everybody, and it makes it easier, it makes our lives easier.
Okay. Now, how do you identify the right location for a real estate development that will appreciate in value over time?
I think the first thing is to look out for growth drivers, right? You look out for growth drivers. If you have access to a state's master plan, for instance, you can know what's coming to where. I'll give you an example. Years ago, when the government was to construct the Third Mainland Bridge, everybody would know that everything around the Third Mainland Bridge that was to be constructed would blow in a very short time. So those are the kind of things you look out for. And then you look at infrastructure, you look at where a developer is going. There are developers that have good track record. You want to know, oh, because this developer is doing something in this place, then he probably knows something. And you ask questions, you check, you find out, and you're able to come in at the right time and get good return on your investment.
Okay. Now, what role does community engagement play? Now, this is before, during, and after the development of a housing project.
Community engagement. So before, you are part of the construction, right? Like I said before, developers are able to give jobs to the community. Okay, that's before. During the still is also going. That's also going on. You can, you know, bring things. So okay, this is what we want for our community. This is how we want it. You can define. You can work. You can collaborate with the developer, and then after you can continue to define how the things are, like maintenance and all of that, and how everything. You just be part of the process and ensure that it continues to get value for your community.
Okay. Now, how can real estate developments be designed to meet the needs of different demographics, including young professionals, growing families, and retirees?
I think that's already happening. I mean, with the way the market is going now, people are more aware. People, subscribers and investors across demographics are asking questions. I mean, everybody is noticing the luxury word scam, and then people are asking for smart homes. People are asking for designs that work. Okay, people are asking for different classes of property that can fall within their own. So people are looking for apartments, one where they can walk, it's close to where they can walk and all of that. And I think developers are, you know, filling in those gaps and building stuff that meets the demand for these different kinds of people across demographics.
Okay. You know, now out of curiosity, right, with the rise of insecurity in the country, we know that insecurity is not just kidnapping, it's also armed robbery. It includes everything that makes you not feel safe. So now, how important is security in modern residential developments, and what innovative approaches are being adopted to enhance resident safety?
Security is very important. I mean, it's a critical factor. I mean, any investor should think about before you invest in an area. And we are how we look working on the challenge. The first thing is we're engaging technology. So, like I mentioned earlier, you look at access control. That's the technology that we have now. You're able to generate a code, and before someone can come into your house, unlike before where either you just get someone come knock your gate or something within an estate, you can generate a code, and then at the gate you have security that can confirm the codes, and then they let the person in. These codes are they expire over time. And then you have a lot of security outfits that you can work with now. Thank God for technology, we're able to reach law enforcement faster. Okay, unlike when we didn't have phones and we didn't have, we couldn't connect. And a lot of other things that you can use. There's CCTV now, right? There's CCTV, there's solar lights. You don't have to rely on the grid to make your spaces look be lit up and all of that. And you can just communicate. Now on the platforms that we have for our estate management, sometimes you can also push of a button, you can sound an alarm, and then you can triggers, and then you can get people to come and all of that. So it's total, and we'll continue to improve with time. But that's one thing that people should look out for before they invest in it.
Okay. Okay, so what financing options are available today for prospective homeowners, and how accessible are they to average income earners? Because somebody like myself now, will I be able to afford? Will I be able to afford?
So there are a couple of them. There's NREF,
Okay.
there is Mofi. The government has set up a few things that you can do, and I know that in line with NHF and some other things, you can. I think the minimum you can contribute to be about 9 or 10%, and then you can spread payments over time depending on your age. So these are things that are available. There's also the Federal Mortgage Bank, and you're able to spread for a number of years. I know also that a lot of developers give the option of you do a small down payment and you can spread payments over time. So it's becoming more accessible and more affordable. I know you have a couple of organizations. We have partners as well, so we talk to. I don't know if I can mention their names, but you have people that they are like administrators for this fund that the government has put together, and then you can reach out to them. They do an assessment, and then you can spread it over time.
Okay, so which means I can only. Okay.
Yeah, you can get mortgage, you can access mortgage, and you can pay. And it's actually a smart thing to do. Instead of just paying rent, and you don't eventually get to own the property that you're investing.
I've learned something new today. You guys should go and own homes. Okay, so now how can developers incorporate renewable energy solutions such as solar power and efficient water management into residential communities?
It's already happening. I mean, most homes use green energy. Just like electric vehicles are becoming more popular, um, most designs incorporate natural lighting and natural ventilation. All of that is coming together. You hardly see estates these days doing electric street lights. It's mostly solar lights.
Solar, yes.
So all of that is green energy, and that's helping. If you notice, there's a lot of even public organizations these days going off the grid, and so people are being more aware and using more green energy, and that's even coming into our real estate designs and our space. Yeah.
Okay. What emerging investment opportunities should both local and diaspora investors be paying attention to in Nigeria's real estate market?
Well, there are a lot of new trends now, and I foresee a lot of investments in the Ogun State corridor because urbanization is coming, and there are a lot of growth drivers around that corridor. You have the new airport, the Gateway International Airport. You have a road that Dangote is doing about 100.5 kilometers, the Shagamu Papalanto Road, amongst other roads that the government is also doing. There's the Kajola Dry Port that's coming in Ogun State. I think Ogun State is a very humble state. They don't make a lot of noise because if you have that airport, because if you have that airport around Lekki now, I'm sure there would have been a lot of buzz. But you have that gateway, and I saw in the news that even Air Peace is about to start some flights around there. I know that recently the Pilgrims did some flights from that location. So it's coming around, and then there's going to be more diaspora inflow into real estate. They'll be asking for more professionalism and transparency. And buyers are just aware, so there's a lot that is happening in Nigeria. Lots of infrastructure development from the government as well. They need to do more, but it's going well so far, and there's going to be more investment in real estate.
Yeah. Sometimes Nigerians are very skeptical when it comes to buying houses in estates. And so now, my question is, how can developers build stronger confidence among Nigerians who have become cautious because of fraudulent land sales and uncompleted projects?
That's a key one. That's an important one. I think the first thing is to be very transparent. That's the first thing. Second thing is to be open about documentation, right? So titles, let it be out there, let people see, let them be able to verify. And there should not be any hidden charges. Most times there are hidden charges, most times there are hidden clauses. Let it be plain, let it be open. Let's boost confidence in the market. And then developers should learn to under-promise and over-deliver. So most times there's a lot of over-promising, and then in the end you sold houses and you just need everybody to sort out their mess. And that shouldn't continue. Also, government should do better at holding people to their words and ensuring that investors get what they want.
Okay. Now, if you could recommend 3 key principles every real estate developer should follow to build sustainable communities, what would they be and why?
The first thing should be proper planning.
Okay.
Because planning is everything. When you plan well, then everything goes well, because you are not just looking short term, you are looking at the long term, you are looking at investing in infrastructure that will continue to hold over time. The second thing should be excellence. For all of your development, there should be excellence. You should do excellent materials, excellent execution, and all of that. And the third thing, integrity. Just keep your word. Make sure that you are saying it, and as you are saying it, that's what it should be, and that's what we stand for at Crowd Price. We always deliver on our promises.
Okay. Now, looking ahead, what trends do you believe will shape the future of Nigeria's real estate sector over the next 5 to 10 years?
One, there will be a lot of investment in real estate on the Ogun State corridor, like I mentioned. That's because of most of the growth drivers that I talked about. I think secondly, you have a lot of diaspora inflows, and this class of investors will be seeking transparency, professionalism, and that. And I think the third one will be that buyers are more aware, so they will demand more. They will demand more because they know, and real estate developers have to continue to commit to excellence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So finally, what advice will you give to people like myself and families planning to purchase their first home, and to investors seeking opportunities that will deliver lasting value?
Good. Okay. First thing, don't be attracted by just the price. So look for long-term value. Don't forget, it's not about the cheapest price today, but it's about the lowest cost over time. So that's one. Secondly, verify title. Okay, do your checks. Go with your lawyer. Ask lots of questions. Number three, look out for a developer that has a good track record, has integrity over time, has delivered again and again, consistent quality delivery. Okay, and then just check, make sure that the execution is excellent, and that they're not just delivering blocks of houses, but also they are trying to develop a community of people that will be sustainable and over time will hold value. Thank you.
Okay. Funsho, Omole, thank you very much for joining us this morning and for sharing your valuable insights on building sustainable communities through quality real estate development.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Today's discussion has reinforced the fact that real estate is about far more than constructing houses. It is about creating environments where families can thrive, businesses can flourish, and investments can appreciate over time. Sustainable communities are built on thoughtful planning, quality infrastructure, environmental responsibility, transparency, and access to essential social amenities that improve the overall quality of life for residents while delivering lasting value for investors. Our conversation also highlights that addressing Nigeria's housing deficits will require stronger collaboration between government, private developers, financial institutions, and other stakeholders. Policies that promote affordability, responsible urban planning, secure land administration, and investments in supporting infrastructure will be critical to unlocking the full potential of the real estate sector as a driver of economic growth and national development. Ultimately, successful real estate development is measured not simply by the number of buildings constructed, but by the quality of the communities created, the opportunities generated, and the lasting impact those developments have on families, businesses, and future generations.
For the nation of